We have a very special guest in studio, and as I often like to say, when I have guests like this, it makes me appear more intelligent because the guests are so gifted and intelligent, and we have conversations, and it makes me sound smart.
Gifted, yes.
He is Bill Nye, the Science Guy. His new book, or his not new book, but the book is newly on paperback.
Yeah, and that's a step in when publishers are willing to put it in paperback. That means that they think it's going to sell.
So
That's
wait a minute,
good.
but when they put it in hardback, they don't think it's going to sell?
Oh, they have expectations in both cases, but
Yeah.
this is the second issue of the same.
Right. And so paperback means immortality, correct?
It is to be hoped.
It is to be hoped. He is Bill Nye the Science Guy. Welcome to Serious
Thank you,
XM,
man.
Good to
It's
see
good
you.
to be here.
I like the look, man. The
This
plaid
old
and
thing,
the-
I
I'm
throw it on.
I'm underdressed.
You look fine. You can pull it off. You look good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. How are you?
I'm fabulous.
Really?
Yeah, I'm great, man. You guys are promoting my book. I love you.
So,
Put my heart and soul into this thing.
everybody loves you. I was looking at this article
Not
on
everybody, yeah.
Bustle, the 7 hottest nerd sex symbols.
Doesn't
And-
make the cut?
You did. Watch this. And see, now when I was in school, it was not sexy to be a nerd. So I could never have been.
I'm
I wish
sorry
I
for
knew
you.
that now. I wish I had another shot at it because, the ladies love Neil deGrasse Tyson and you.
Truth, yeah.
Number one of the 7 hottest nerds, hottest nerd sex symbols. Number 1 is Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yep.
And number 2 is Bill Nye. All right. And
See,
just
I would have done better. That's the old pencil neck picture there. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Pencil neck?
that's what went wrong.
Okay. I don't know.
Modern picture, I'd be kicking his empanache. No,
You're-
Neil and
you-
I go back, man. We're good friends. Spent a lot of time with Neil.
And just to give you an idea of the context, relativity, you're above David Tennant, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Will Wheaton. Joe Biden is number 6. You're hotter than Joe Biden.
A
Did
man
you know
can
you were a
dream.
sex symbol? Do you try to be
Yeah,
a sex
are
symbol?
you kidding? Check me out.
Do you look?
No, no, I don't know if I'm a sex symbol. I'm a huge fan of symbols.
Oh, really? Of course you are.
No, of sex. A huge fan.
So, 2 of these young people working with me have confessed. Confessed to
not
something.
stated. They've confessed. What did you do to
That
get
when they were in
did
science
you do
class,
both bad and good cop? What happened?
no, they just started talking. You were coming. They wanted to see you, and they told me that when they were in high school, science teacher would just put your video on, and that was how the class was
That's
taught.
what happens. That's what happens.
Yeah.
I'm
How do you
not-
feel? How you feel about that?
That's
You okay
great.
with that?
I mean, in a sense. No, but I was in Australia for the first time. I was in France recently, in Copenhagen, Bremen, Germany. These people watch the Science Guy show
Okay.
on the electric internet. The kids have.
You're right.
It's amazing. So the show's 25 years old. The pilot was 25 years ago. People are still watching the show. It's very gratifying.
I wish
It's
I wish I
amazing.
had the show, because I was interested in medicine, and then I took high school chemistry. Wiped
It's
me
all
out.
done with molecules.
Wiped me out.
You didn't have a great chemistry teacher.
No, he didn't really care.
Oh,
and
see,
it was
that's
hard,
it.
and I couldn't
It's
do
the
it.
passion. That's what you want.
I wish
from
I
a
had
teacher
you.
or professor. Is the passion.
How did you get the passion? When did the bug bite you?
I don't know. I was a little kid.
It was literally a bug too, right?
Might have been. I was stung by a bee. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're into it, bees are not bugs. There's a class. There's a class of insects. Insects are a class. There's a order of insects that are what we call the true bugs. Bees are 4-winged flies. If you're scoring along with us.
Okay.
I was stung by a bee, and then, which was very troubling. I don't want to sound like a weak guy, but I was crying. At this point in our story.
That happened to me when I got stung.
Yes,
man.
I was
crying like a baby.
3.5 years old. It's very troubling.
That's real.
And my mother put ammonia on it. This is back when, if you're a hardcore window cleaner, you can still buy a bottle of ammonia. But it's the thing that you smell when you smell Windex. And she put it on the bee sting. And it felt better.
Just like that.
Well, pretty quickly. And the bottle of ammonia has a skull and crossbones. It's poison.
Right, it is.
My mother's trying to kill me, which I
Right.
could understand. But I was just, that flipped me out. And then my brother had a chemistry set back when they were dangerous and cool.
Mm-hmm.
And he could make a compound of ammonia in the palm of your hand with 2 powders. it was like, wow, this is magical. But it's not magic. It's
science.
Yes!
So that's what got
So
you.
I'm sorry
got
you didn't
started.
have a good chemistry teacher. I had Miss Rushka. She was great.
She was great. Yeah.
Miss
yeah.
Rushka.
What are we going to do about climate change? Now, you're going to be doing a big thing with Al Gore, I read.
Oh, it's Bill and Al. We're like this.
Okay.
No, I mean, I've met him. He's met me. Okay.
I know that's right.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to get there's 3 things we want for everybody in the world. We want clean water, renewably produced, reliable electricity, and access to the internet, or whatever the kids call the internet in the coming decades. That way we can feed everybody, provide education to women and girls, and change the world.
Are we too late to save ourselves from the devastating consequences that climate change may?
Well, we're not too late if we just get her done. Let's go.
Okay.
So I think about my grandfather, who went into World War I on a horse, on a flippin' horse. And you'll be shocked to learn he was a chemist. And he was responsible by family lore. I wasn't there. He put chlorine in the Lister bags in the canteens because chlorine is not especially good for you, but dysentery is especially bad for you. So you can kill this parasite or this bacterium with chlorine. And he rode a horse at night around trenches and didn't get killed. But now, anybody who's serious about conducting a war doesn't ride a horse. Everything changed. Everything changed.
Right.
In just a couple decades. Nobody rode a horse 20 years later. So let's change everything.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Have to keep evolving.
We had gas-powered cars. Why? You could have had electric cars. Okay, yes, let's have electric cars. Electric trucks.
We should.
That's right.
Yeah. That's
Let's
important.
go.
My step-grandfather was a chemist at Meharry in Nashville, and he used to talk about he was always over our head. He would start talking about something like
Chemists love chemistry.
I can't figure it out. So when one of the bombers, the underwear bomber, was on a plane,
ditz. Sorry.
and so my grandfather's on the phone trying to explain to me how he might have made the bomb. I said we probably shouldn't talk about this on the phone. Because if anybody's listening, they might think we're planning something.
Well, he used the explosive that's used to start explosives, which is pretty common.
Right.
So you've seen movies with the fuse where they light the fuse.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
might have had fireworks where you light the fuse. Well,
Right.
nowadays, the last 50 years, they use something called blast cord, which is a hollow tube like a paper straw full of explosive, and it burns about a mile every 4 seconds.
Right.
So he somehow emptied out enough blast cord to make a bomb,
Yeah.
and he was such a ditz he couldn't figure out how to set it off.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that all bombers are ditzes, but that particular guy was a little bit of a ditz.
Many of them are. But on the climate change piece, and I think you are doing something with Al Gore. They're going to do something December 3rd, I think.
Yeah,
do
it's
a big broadcast.
Deal. Yeah. But the trouble with,
for 24 hours.
Yep.
Or something? You're going to be on the air for 24 hours.
Well, no, a couple hours, I guess. But the big problem we have, people love to hate Al Gore. They love to hate me. Is you're preaching to the choir, but the choir's getting bigger.
People don't hate you.
The choir's getting bigger.
It is.
That is to say, these floods, hurricanes, and fires have helped people realize that the climate models and the predictions, models a computer thing, the climate software predictions and what's happening are coming together. In other words, the predictions are coming true. And so more and more people that I meet are realizing that climate change is a serious business, and maybe the climate scientists are right and the climate denialists are completely wrong.
So you don't think that with the fires, just doing more raking will solve the problem?
No. And another interesting thing about that, he was in one town where they were raking to try to keep the undergrowth from burning, but the other big fires in Thousand Oaks, California, are not in a forest at all. They're in the high desert or chaparral. Just the scrub bushes are burning, and then what happens is you go just a little bit higher in elevation, you get the tall trees. It's amazing. That's why those forests out west are spectacular. The trees are far enough apart, and they grow very tall. It's cool, but I've been in a forest fire, and it's really fantastically dangerous. And the whole thing that people don't realize is how fast they move.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
As the saying goes, they create their own wind. So the hot air rising allows cold air to come in and rise too. So, we remind you, hot air doesn't rise without gravity. Cold air squeezes hot air up. Heat doesn't just rise on its own.
It's just in him, folks. He just rose right off the top.
So what happens in a forest fire,
impressive.
The cold air squeezes the hot air up, and it just causes a wind which feeds the fire. You've blown on charcoal and seen it glow hotter or whatever. Yeah. And so it's very, very dangerous. And there's an expression they call crowning, where it goes from the tops of the trees, one to the other, without getting to the ground.
Wow. Rake
the ground till you're blue in the face, if you will, but the fire is spreading and setting houses on fire. So when you destroy tens of thousands of houses, you're displacing tens of thousands of people, and then they don't pay taxes or have jobs anymore, and they have no place to live. When you flood half of Houston and people have to evacuate their homes, if that happens three times in the course of 10 years, they're going to leave. They're going to stop paying. They're going to default on their mortgage. They're going to leave New Orleans, South Florida, the Panhandle of Florida. And where are they going to go? And who's going to pay for it?
Yeah.
So let's get to work, people. Let's go. Let's get her done.
But can we save ourselves by just moving to Mars?
No. When you get to Mars, you'll notice three things.
Okay.
There's no food. There's hardly any water. You got to work really hard to get water. And the other thing, you will notice this immediately. You can't breathe. And that'll be very troubling for a few seconds, and then it'll be over with. So this idea that you can just go settle this foreign planet the way our ancestors settled North America or South America. Everybody speaks either Portuguese or Spanish in South America because these guys came from Europe with swords and smallpox and took over. Yeah.
Right.
And so you can't go to Mars and do that because there's no water or air. For crying out loud. I'm not saying we don't want a science base there in the same way we have a science base in Antarctica and above the Arctic Circle. I've been to the East Greenland Ice Core Research Project camp. You can't take your rifle and live off the land. There's no land. There's nothing to shoot. Get over it. And so,
is there another planet we can go to?
No. This is it, people. This is where we are perfectly suited to live here. And one of the messages in my book, Everything All at Once, now out in paperback, 20 in a carton, they make great gifts for the holidays, is this idea that we are in charge. We didn't choose to be, but humans are in charge of the planet. We're going to choose what to farm, whom to feed, what parklands to preserve, what oceans to preserve, what fish species to preserve. We are in charge. And that means we get to call the shots, but not only that, it means we have to make good decisions.
Don't his words make me seem more intelligent, ladies and gentlemen? Bill Nye, the out on paperback, Everything All at Once. Check it out.
20 in a carton. Make great gifts.
Make great gifts for the holidays and good thinking gifts. Good to see you, man. Keep up the good work. You anything else coming up for you? You working on anything?
Well,
you're a sex symbol. Have you thought about doing a major motion picture or going into Hollywood?
I should be in a major motion picture. Sure, I should.
Okay.
Yeah, call me.
Have you thought about that?
Yes.
You want to do it?
Yeah, but okay. You guys.
What kind of movie? What kind of role would you like to play? What do you see yourself as? What would be the genre?
So there's two things I'd really like to do.
Okay.
First of all, there's a book called Code Girls, which I predict will be made into a series or a movie. It'll be the next Hidden Figures.
Your mom.
And my mom was one of them.
Right.
And I'd love to be the guy.
Code breaker in World War II.
Yeah, I'd love to, because apparently she was good at math and science. She was definitely good at puzzles. That is a true fact, not a false fact.
Okay.
But that's a joke. True fact, false fact's really funny. But I would love to be the guy that looks over the woman's shoulder and goes, wait, I think you've got it. I would love to be that guy.
You want to play that do that cameo?
An officer, be all dressed up, be cool.
So you're impressed with people who do puzzles. I do the New York Times mini crossword every day.
And look at you, you're fine.
And Andrew's laughing at me. I don't know why. The staff would not
congratulate
me. I did it in 32 seconds today. I did the New York Times mini crossword. But I'm gonna show you.
I don't know if you heard it.
Do right here. What?
but I could hear it. I did it in 32 seconds,
Boom.
bitches.
But,
Yeah, I heard
Look,
it. Yeah,
32 seconds.
There it is. Good.
Huh?
Yeah,
Look.
you could be decoding Nazi messages to U-boats. Go for it,
Bill
man.
Nye just said that about me. And what do y'all? What's so funny? Y'all just laugh. Look at him cracking up. Hold your arms up so you don't
We're
choke.
trying to be funny here. As well as what, anyone? Funny looking. So the other movie I want to make is about Nathaniel Bowditch. I own the rights to this book. I want to make a movie about him. He was a guy born before the United States was the United States, in Massachusetts in 1773, and he went on to become an internationally renowned mathematician.
Okay.
If you go to the Library of Congress, his name's on the ceiling.
Would you play him?
No, I'm too old. No.
Okay.
But I might play Captain Prince. And then, so he makes a bet with Captain Prince that they're going to get to, I think my recollection is Jakarta, in the Philippines, going to get there a day before, 2 days before the captain thought they'd get there by using sextants and celestial navigation with the stars.
Yeah.
And no, sorry, this part of the story. Wait. In this part of the story, they're negotiating to buy pepper on what is now Reunion Island, the Isle of Bourbon, Ile de Bourbon in French, Bourbon. And the natives are not negotiating fairly.
Okay.
And Bowditch points it out to his captain. They're trying to rip you off. And so, how do you know that, Nathaniel Bowditch? Well, sir, I taught myself French. Oh, you taught yourself French?
Wow.
Yes, sir. Then he's... Carry On, Mr. Bowditch. And that's the name of the book that I own the rights to.
Oh, wow.
Carry On, Mr.
Okay.
Bowditch.
So you got a couple of movies in the hopper.
Well, I have bit parts
Okay.
in the background that in the movies I want to make
I'm gonna say
or
this,
see
though.
made.
Everybody who's ever sat in this chair next to me who said, talked about a movie they wanted to do, it ended up actually happening.
Right
Every
on.
single
Thank you,
person.
Mark. Thanks for
I'm
that.
serious.
I believe you.
I'm not joking about that.
So
And
call
you-
me, everybody. I'm a United Talent Agency. You can get hold of me. We can make these 2 movies. It'll be fun.
Bill Nye, the sex symbol guy, Bill Nye, everything all at once in paperback, a lot of fun, and especially for the young people. Wish I had him around when I might have been something else.
You're doing fine, man. You're playing the hand you're dealt.
Honestly,
It's all
the
good.
only science book I was interested in, because I played baseball, and I read
What
Ted
position do you
Williams, first base and outfield. I read Ted Williams' book.
Are you left-handed?
No, right-handed. I read Ted Williams' book, The Science of Hitting.
Science of
And
hitting.
it was fascinating. And that was, if you give me a test on that, I could do it. Anything else?
Baseball is
F.
all science, man. It's
It
all
is.
physics and mathematics. Baseball,
Yeah.
love the baseball.
Did you play?
I tried play as an old man in the fantasy leagues. Fantasy,
Okay.
from fantasy camps. There's a
Yeah.
league of
Yeah,
old
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
West Coast Fantasy Baseball Association. And I played the outfield. I can't throw. I can't run. I can't catch. I can't hit. Nor can I hit for power. I'm the 5-tool threat of.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I brought that up. I didn't mean for you to say all that.
But those are the 5 tools: throw, run,
Yeah.
hit, catch, hit for power.
Can't do none of it.
Not really.
You're
no.
a science. This is a game
But
of
I
science.
try.
You should
I
you
try.
should sell because you're a scientist.
And the pitchers fool me. They threw 2 fastballs and a curveball, and I strike out. I'm a freaking
Bill
idiot.
Nye, the science sex symbol who can't play baseball. Everything all at once is.
But
a
I
paper
try.
bag. He tried. You're a delight, man. Thank you.
Carry on. Thank
Happy
you.
holidays to you.
Thank you. You
Congratulations
too.
on the book. This is MIP.